is Vash? No Man's Land is a scorching desert planet many moons from Earth. The survivors of the human race are basically living on a planet similar to Pandora from Borderlands, relying on a resource called plants, an ecological powered reactor that creates all matter from scratch. But it's not something so easily within reach. People are starving, drinking piss-colored water, murdering and stealing from each other to survive. In a world full of psychos, one troublemaker with a whopping $6 million bounty named Human Typhoon. Baggage like that would be sure to bring a typhoon of disaster to anyone who gets involved with him. Vash the Stampede is his name. A newbie reporter, Meryl Streep, side to side with her drunken senior, Roberto De Niro, are looking to land the first scoop on the humanoid typhoon. They happen to run into a gunfighter wearing a cool red jacket. But contrary to that name, the man in the photo, Typhoon, is not so windy. Vash is a pacifist who promises to never kill while being the most good-natured boy this planet has ever seen. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Later accompanied by this cool-ass dude Beyblading a giant cross, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, a supposed Undertaker. Thus begins their adventure to hunt down his evil twin brother, Million Knives, and put a stop to his Joker phase. Trigun Stampede is a flashy space western reboot of the original Trigun manga, produced by Studio Orange, kings of CG with Beastars and Land of the Lustrous. While many can agree that most CG in anime is unsavory, like who saw this Unity asset and said, we have to use this, put it in, nah. It's a touchy topic on whether or not it should be banished to the Shadow Realm, but as with all technology, we will start to see more of it, so we should learn to accept when it is done right. If any studio could whip out a great looking anime in this style, it's Studio Orange. Named Trigun Stampede with the intention of taking Trigun in a new direction, the origins of Vash Stampede. The original Trigun author had a hand in production. He was swinging meat around, keeping an eye on the script, making sure there was no discrepancies. Many aesthetic influences are worn on their sleeve, Cowboy Bebop being one of the many that they admitted to. Right from episode 1, a sprinkle of foreshadowing here, a strong display of emotion from certain characters, or a lack thereof with others. Similar to other space settings, the narrative is unknown to you as a whole. The more you watch, the more you are supposed to learn. Rather than dumping it onto you like some Nickelodeon slime, they want to show you through actions, thoughts, past events, or even just the environment. Meryl's cute, subtle, puffy cheeks, the glare changing on his shades, revealing his beautiful face, and every little inch of moving parts along the barrel of every gun. These small details added to everything that makes the world just a little bit more sweet. Like cookies. As a matter of fact, let me grab one right now. Seeing the level of expression through their faces and detail in the objects is a pleasant, backhanded surprise. Crisp-ass action scenes along with every bit of those cinematic camera angles. A chase scene turns from just music and running to goes under his arm, swings up that way, slowly walks up to him and then zooms out. And that's good cinematography. I don't actually know what that means, but I know it makes me sound smarter. So there's just something inherently cool about adding these unnecessary angles for some extra kick. Chainsaw Man, look, I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, but hear me out. Chainsaw Man uses similar techniques to give that feeling of intensity during an action scene. Look at this clip from episode 10, for example. Power is gonna yeet her spear through a door, but to illustrate that strength behind her throw, she winds up, throws it, and then they stretch out the shot to focus on the spear itself. But hold on, if you pay attention to the scene right before it, she's standing in front of the door. So imagine if she just walked up solid snake style, like in a box and everything, and just stabbed it through the door instead of throwing it. It's not as cool now, is it? Speaking of cool, let's talk about the characters. While multiple major characters are shown in abundance in this reboot, their vibe as characters feel special. They revolve around the struggling adventures Vash endures throughout his journey to put a stop to his brother's ultimate plan. Together they travel their way through hell to pinpoint what Knives is really planning. fighting all kinds of weird science experiments and monsters that are often very heartwarming or sad. A little bit of research on Google tells me that the cast had a bit of a revamp. As far as I know, one character named Millie was removed and replaced with the Goofy Drunkard. I personally have no prior experience of Trigun, but Roberto's a cool guy. He doesn't feel like someone who just doesn't belong or they shoehorned him in. I quite like his interactions with the rest of the group. His attitude is understandable. 9 times out of 10, he doesn't really want to be doing what he's doing right now, but he does it anyway to protect her, maybe more out of moral obligation. And there's obviously the group that Knives seems to be in charge of, a wild organization of weird individuals that have all these cool abilities. The Eye of Michael. There is no end to the amount of interesting characters in this anime. If I had to name favorites, Wolfwood and Vash are the boys. I do want to note that I am a big fan of the design change for Vash. The new glasses look pretty dope. Super Saiyan hair is funny, but it ain't cool anymore, guys. It's comments like these that make me believe that people will just hate something for literally any reason whatsoever. With this reboot, I will admit that sections of the story do progress on their tippy toes. What they do give us is interesting, and I know nothing of the Trigun universe personally. Sadly, most of the criticism comes down to really pinpointed comparisons to the original, which this anime is not trying to be. Quote, "This isn't going to just be a retread of what's already been done in the manga and anime. There might be a different side of Vash, a different perspective we see. There are intentions behind everything. Keywords, a new direction, a different perspective." If you like swaggy shit like Cowboy Bebop, then give Trigun Stampede a watch. It's a unique experience that is hard to come across nowadays. Just don't ruin it for yourself like these people did. The only thing that I wish they did to make this reboot better was more time. 12 episodes just doesn't seem to be enough for this story, but we got 5 episodes of Vash left to enjoy, so only time will tell. Thanks for watching. Like the video, show your friends, and comment. Trust me, I'll read them.